allowed to take a break? I am not sure about that and whether or not it's accurate. Anyway, so let me actually say this first. Is It's Going Down did an interview with me. That's right. That's me. I did this with them, and they finally posted their little whatever it is report, page, whatever the fuck it is that they do here. And so you can listen to the podcast.
It's going down.
There you go.
I'm on there somewhere. People are.
I'm on there somewhere. Yeah.
And so the first.
And so then you can just read all this if you want. I mean, it's optional. Like, if you've been watching all of my streams, you already know all this. But you should be, you should be doing that whole thing. You can do that whole thing. So that's an option. But let's get into yesterday's recap, shall we? So yesterday was the 19th day of protests in Elizabeth City over the death of Andrew Brown Jr. And so I arrive on the scene, and there was some miscommunication. People said that there was going to be something happening, and that ended up not happening. But we all did something anyway, and that's one of the things that's beautiful about this community is that it's so small, and we all kind of know each other by this point, right? That it's okay, well, we're all here, and our plans fell through. Let's just do something else. And so we did something else. So we basically there was going to be some congregation of some individuals, and we were going to march after that, and we decided to just start marching a little earlier. That's basically what happened. And then we started going through town. We're going in, so that's us going in, and we went into downtown Elizabeth City. And again, the crowd is not as big as it was at the start of these protests, for sure. A lot of people have been, to be honest, quite afraid of the police. There have also been a lot of people that think that filing for permits makes the protest stupid. And I'm going to be honest, I agree with those people. And so I personally, I mean, obviously I will attend any protest regardless of the context. But I understand why someone wouldn't want to go to a protest if it's a permit parade, kind of there's going to be 13 cops on all sides of you. I understand why certain people would be afraid of going throughout that. So, our numbers are not as strong as they were at the start. And I place the blame squarely on the city council, the police, and I think that local leadership should be fighting the permits more. I understand why they're not. Local, the people that are filing the permits, their thing is if they want to arrest us, well, we want to make it as stupid as possible for why they arrest us. When we did file the permit and they arrested 4 people for, quote, walking too slowly and impeding traffic, right? Yeah, that was really dumb. And when you get arrested for following all the rules, it's good propaganda. But at the same time, who's watching this propaganda? It's not like this is going on CNN anymore. Right? I'm not trying to be my own, I'm not trying to be a main character here, but I'm honestly one of the only people even reporting on Elizabeth City protests at this point. And so I do respect the reasoning that certain people have for filing permits. I just disagree with that reasoning, but I'm not going to, go up there and make a stink about it. But again, if people do get arrested, I'm going to be the only one that gets footage of it. It's not going to go on ABC. It's not going to go on CNN. I mean, the last time I did have CBS request my footage, but I mean, at the same time, I don't know, it's just we're at day 20 now. This is day 19. Today will be day 20. So it's the media is just not interested, But so I'm just throwing that out there. The permit is probably the most controversial subject of these protests as of this current moment in time. There's a good chunk of people that are pro-permit and a good chunk of people that are against the permit in the everyday group, I want to say. And then I also know that there are a bunch of people that don't like the permit because they think it negates the whole point of the protest, that aren't showing up. And I'm sure that, and the other thing is okay, we have a permit. Where's all the white people? There's all, we're at this point where it's okay, We got a permit, y'all. Like, this isn't a quote illegal protest. Where are all the Karens that are going on Facebook who are saying, "Oh, I support Black Lives Matter," but like, where are you? Right? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. Like, to me, my personal opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, and I'm not planning on enacting this opinion in any fashion in the protest groups. But my personal opinion is that the permits do more harm than good for the cause. I think it liberalizes the cause. That being said, I understand why we're having permits now, because also they're planning on releasing slightly more footage to the family, not to the public, but to the family. They're planning on releasing slightly more footage. And so if that footage is as bad as we know it is, right, and if some of it does get leaked, which, hey, it could get leaked, right, I understand why you'd say, oh, we've been doing permits every day for 3 weeks, and now, and now we followed all the rules, and then you still, like, so I understand the whole point of, just to do something. Like, you just have a permit to march through a certain amount of town, just to say, all right, we did something for day 19. Give it up for day 19, everyone. And then they're going to release a more version of the tape or something on day 23, and then that's where shit pops. Like, I'm totally down with that. As long as something happens at least one time every single day, that's really my main concern. And so I just wanted to talk about the permit there, because I got a lot of questions, a lot of people DMing me, a lot of people sending me messages like, what's going on with the permit? Can you tell us more? It's unconstitutional. And yes, I agree, it's unconstitutional. But again, without, if we don't have 500 people to count on, which at this point we are only around getting 100 people at maximum, for these, I call them parades. I mean, it's not really if you have a permit, it's not really a protest, it's more of a parade. But so this is day 19 of the Elizabeth City Parade. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so as you can see, the cops are just, they try to get as close to us as possible. It's really funny to watch. We started slowing down a lot, and then I looked around, and there's all these cars, right? Just kind of slowly driving, and it's that's amazing, right? They're all slow. I bet they're all on their cell phones, on their Facebook feeds, going these goddamn, it's incredible. And so, yeah. Top Damage Wizard, you're expressing your valid concern, but you're not letting the perfect get in the way of the good. I wish more leftists had this praxis. I mean, I'm not a main character. I have no right to go up to I've only lived here for 2 years. Right, there are other people that are in these protests that have lived here their entire lives. I have absolutely no right to go up and say the permit is unconstitutional, no one should do it. Right, now I have the right to, in my estimation, tell everyone that is around me that I disagree with the permit. But I mean, I'm not going to make a big stink about it. That's just rude and obnoxious. I don't know. Maybe there's people that would make a big stink about it, but I mean, personally, to my position, I think the understandability of, say, hey, we're doing all the rules for 3 straight weeks, and then the police escalate, and then we can stop doing the permits. That's a totally valid strategy. It's a totally valid strategy, and it's a totally valid strategy again to only do permits when we know we're not going to have beefy numbers, and then plan to get beefy numbers and then break the permits. You know what I mean? These are all totally valid strategies as far as I'm concerned. And so that's why I can disagree with them. I can agree with certain strategies, and I think they're still perfectly legitimate. And at the end of the day, it's the Elizabeth City community that is coming out every single day. We are the ones that should be democratically deciding. And so that's my opinion. I don't want to, I'm just throwing that out there. So we go through some of the residential neighborhoods, and this is where we usually start growing people, because, people love to get out of their house and get into the street. And this isn't, we're not going through the richy rich white people neighborhoods. We're going through the neighborhoods of people that actually probably knew Andrew and so forth. So we get a couple more people out here. And then we're marching by the actual scene of the crime, where the crime took place. Now, I want to remind everyone, there have been over 20 arrests following the death of Andrew Brown. 20 arrests. Well, you might be saying, okay, well, there were 7 deputies that killed him. Okay, so that's 7. Then maybe you could say arrest the judge who's corrupt. Okay, that's 8. Maybe arrest the sheriff. Okay, that's 9. Maybe arrest the rest of the cops. Okay, maybe you get up to 20. except just kidding, actually. All 20 arrests, they have been protesters. There have been 0 arrests for the crime of murdering Andrew Brown Jr. So I want to be very clear, right? People can get arrested for, quote, walking too slowly, even though they have a permit. That's fine. Arrest the motherfuckers. But when you roll up looking like Al-Qaeda into a fucking neighborhood, shooting people down in a school zone, sorry. No, Law and Order? Wait, what? Law and Order? What? Sorry. No. Robert just got hired and he hasn't killed anyone yet, so we thought this would be an easy one. That's my personal conspiracy. I think that this was a gang initiation killing. Because you really need to look at that. This is something that's been very, very frequently occurring in police departments. Especially, like I've read a lot of stories about how this happens in Los Angeles. Is they are, first of all, the police departments in any city are gangs. They're gangs. Like that, there is no, the only difference between them and other gangs are that they're state sponsored. These are state sponsored terror organizations. That's what they are, right? And so now I also want to tell you that the sheriff's department in Elizabeth City, the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department, it's not, the Elizabeth City Sheriff, they almost never serve arrest warrants or search warrants, right? People have been saying this is a very rare occurrence to happen in Elizabeth City. Normally it's the Elizabeth City Police Department that serves search and arrest warrants. So why did the Sheriff's Department serve this arrest warrant? Why did they ride on a pickup truck looking like Al-Qaeda through a school zone, right? The only thing that I can think of is that this is an initiation killing. They had a new person on the force who's never killed anyone before. They probably joked about it. They probably picked a name out of the list and said, let's get this one. And that's my personal speculation. And you can feel free to let me know whether or not you think that speculation is valid or something that you consider possible. But personally, that's what I think. Because there's no reason that the sheriffs have to be there in the first place. They have no reason to be there in the first place. They're usually not the ones that do that job. They have no reason to look like Al-Qaeda pulling up into a school zone. They have no reason to shoot someone before even saying that they're police. All of that doesn't make any sense. But when you look at through it the lens of it's an initiation killing for a gang, all of it makes perfect sense. Right? All the cover-up makes perfect sense. All the way that they tried not to release the names, all the way that they're trying not to tell us who actually shot the kill shot. It all makes perfect sense. The cover-up all makes perfect sense when you look at it as a gang initiation killing. So we go through, we're still going through, and as you can see, we're growing slightly. We get a couple more people going. And we're on our way back downtown. And on our way back downtown, we had this extremely unfortunate circumstance occur where we have a protester who is in a wheelchair, and we had an extremely unfortunate circumstance occur where the wheelchair just stopped functioning. And so this is my comments on the scene here. So we have a wheelchair emergency, which unfortunately happened to be in the middle of the bridge. Unfortunately, who knows how long it will be shut down? Nobody knows. So again, we had an uncomfortable, unfortunate event. A natural disaster. This is something that could not have been predicted. But the wheelchair did not function for a significant portion of time. While we were occupying the bridge, again, just very unlucky. Maybe one of the rioters, I'm talking about the police that were rioting and looting through these streets, maybe they dropped like a knife or something and it clogged up the works there. Who knows? We had a lot of rioters in here a couple weeks ago. From 200 to 300 miles away. Some of the rioters are still here. Yes, again, I'm talking about the police, just to be specific. Some of the rioters are still here, but most of them have left at this point. But again, very unfortunate timing on that one. And so we go back to public safety, and as we're there, and as we're talking about what we're going to do tomorrow, these bitch-ass, dumb fuck motherfuckers come up. And so this guy right here, this is Felton. This guy, his name is Battle. And so these guys came up and basically said, we don't like how you were taught. Okay, so what they want, now, again, I wanted to say, this is the other thing with the permits, is the police are telling us we can only walk on half the road. There's nothing legal about that at all. There's nothing legal about it. It's not even in the permit. The permits, the form for the permits have nothing to do with half the road. So this is just like a fantasy land, little rule that they constructed in their heads that kind of constrict us. Right? And so Felton, right, I want to remind everyone, Felton, in fact, I'm going to look up this video. I want to remind everyone that Felton is the same cop who saw a drunk driver try to harass us and use his car as a weapon. He didn't arrest that guy. And I'm going to get that video real quick. I'm trying to figure out how to search for it and what keyword I would have used. Okay, all right. I searched the keyword drunk in my Twitter. Oof. that's and I did not find what I was looking for, but I found some other interesting things. Either way, I got it on video of this same officer who said, "Oh, I'm so like okay." So he came up to us yesterday and was like, "I'm so concerned about vehicle attacks. Why were you walking on the yellow lines?" Because we were walking on the yellow lines, and we're supposed to be on one side of the yellow lines or some bullshit. And some of us were like, all right, we'll walk on the yellow lines. We'll put one foot on the other side of the yellow lines. And so he was very honestly upset. And he was like, I don't want anything like Charlottesville to happen here. And it's like, bitch motherfucker, I have you on tape letting someone go who attempted to do something literally exactly like Charlottesville. Right? And I'm trying to find this video. Apparently I just doesn't exist anymore. How do you spell harassing? Does anyone know? That's like a word I misspell frequently. Man, I have like all the days are blending together. I would normally like find the video easily by searching like day whatever, but I don't remember. But either way, take it on my word. This dumb motherfucker over here, Mr. Felton, he's a bitch. I would even go as far as to say he's a bitch and a half. I would even honestly make the claim that he's a bitch and 3/4. And this is the other quarter right here. These guys are lame. They're stupid. And I honestly hate them. And I hope that they watch my show because I hope they know how much I hate them. I have the video. It's just I don't know how to look it up while doing a live show. Like if I were to prepare this, I would have found it pretty easily. But it's just like I'm trying to do it like on the fly. And so yeah. So again, these people are just liars. They're ridiculous. They're clowns. Oh, we don't want anything like Charlottesville to happen here. Yet when the closest thing like Charlottesville happened, you let the guy go. You let the guy go when that happened. So again, fuck the cops. There is no good cop. Some people think, oh, well, the local Elizabeth City police is black, so they know what it's like. That makes it worse, motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna be honest, right? It makes it worse when you quote know what it's like to be black in America and you decide, all right, I'm gonna be the cop in this instance. That makes you a fucking piece of shit. And the same thing goes for the women cops. The same thing goes for all the cops. They're all garbage. They all chose to be the oppressors. It's like the person who gets bullied in high school and it's like, I'm gonna be the bully now. Go fuck yourself. Just because they're a woman doesn't mean that they're cool. Just because they're black doesn't mean that they're cool. They're still shit on my shoes. And I hope to God, and I pray every single day that they lose their motherfucking jobs and have to do a real job. Mow my fucking lawn, bitch. Go fucking clean the fucking toilets or something. Go do something useful to society, you dumb cop bastard. Anyway, so as soon as, and again, I want to remind everyone, we ended the protest early because it was Mother's Day and we had some mothers in the crowd and they wanted to do some stuff, all totally valid. Right, so we end the protest early, and these bitch-ass cops still harass the shit out of us. And they still try to make us have, like, more rules. No, go fuck yourself, you stupid fuck. That's all I have to say. So that's day 19, folks. Give it up for day 19. I want to take some wise words.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
Anyway, 10:43. Damn, that's crazy. Oh, thank you. I got the video. Because of my extreme super sleuthing abilities, have acquired this video. Here's the video. So again, here's the guy who, again, he was following the protesters the whole time, threatening to like drive into people, and then we got on the sidewalks, and then he just started like fucking going after us. And this is the same guy, officer motherfucker, officer bitch. Officer bitch in 3/4. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh, by the way, I'm screaming. But look at this guy. It's the same guy. The same guy who yesterday is like, oh, Charlottesville. We don't want anything like Charlottesville to happen here. Is the same guy who let this bitch motherfucker go as he was driving into the sidewalk and all that shit. So go fuck yourself, Felton. Get a new job, you fucking prick. Thank you. Thank you for sending me that video. So I have that little addendum, an amendment, an asterisk on that one.